Hello ladies and gentlemen, CL-53 here, bringing you another Minecraft World War II BAFTA build tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going ahead and building the USS San Diego CL-53. USS San Diego was a Atlantic-class light cruiser of the United States Navy, commissioned just after the U.S. entry into World War II and active throughout the Pacific Theater. It was armed with 16 5-inch 127mm DP anti-aircraft guns and 16 Bofors 40mm AA guns. The Atlantic-class cruisers had one of the heaviest anti-aircraft broadsides of any warship of World War II. San Diego is one of the most decorated U.S. warships of World War II, being awarded 18 battle stars, and was the first major Allied warship to enter Tokyo Bay after the surrender of Japan. Decommissioned in 1946, the ship was sold for scrapping in December of 1960. Unfortunately, the USS San Diego shared the same fate as the Enterprise, being one of the most decorated U.S. warships and basically tossed aside into a mothball fleet and later scrapped. I would have really liked to see this ship and also the Enterprise basically turned into museums and not just scrapped. I think it's really sad, especially this being the first major Allied warship to enter Tokyo Bay. I think it had a ton of historical importance around it that it should have been, commemorated in a museum. But that's history, and unfortunately at the time we really didn't care too much about museum ships and really just kind of wanted to get rid of all this older tech to make way for the new missile age. But it's still a really cool ship, and I think that it definitely deserves to be commemorated here as a BAFTA build. I did want to redo my Atlantic class, and this was kind of part of that. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the USS San Diego. It's named after my hometown, and it also is just one of the most decorated, and if not the most, notable Atlantic class ship. So should be a pretty awesome build to go ahead and build. This ship here is designed up in the 1945 scheme for USS San Diego. USS San Diego did have the Measure 21 color scheme, so that dark gray that you can see it in is what it would have looked like in 1945, and it's also with the same loadout. So that is what we have set up for us here. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look at it. So starting off with, we have the bow of the ship. Again, really nothing too fancy. It's a pretty small ship, just a light cruiser. But after that, we have our three dual mounted guns located here. So our turrets. So you have the three guns in the front there. The Atlanta just has some, crazy amount of guns on it, that's for sure. Then we get to the middle section here where we have our conning tower, all of our radar masts, gun fire control, directors and stuff like that. Some few anti-aircraft guns here and there around the ship, and then we have lifeboats located in the midship section. We then have our second funnel, again our second mast on the back here, another gun fire control director, a torpedo launcher on each side, and then we also have the other 5-inch guns that are like the broadside guns, and then we have our three rear turrets here on the back. So again, same armament as up in the front there, and that's pretty much a ship. Again, some few anti-aircraft guns here and there. Again, really cool looking ship. Should make an awesome addition to any of your BAFTA build fleets, especially if you're looking for an Atlanta class. This is going to be perfect. Now just know that their Atlantas probably had some sort of different camouflages going on with them. I know that especially the Atlanta itself was sunk in the Battle of Guadalcanal, so there is definitely the chance that you have different color schemes and stuff like that, as Measure 21 was more adopted during the end of the war. So definitely be sure to look up your color schemes if you want to build some other different ships of this class. But again, this is the USS San Diego CL-53, and let's move into the tutorial. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we will be going ahead and starting off with layer 1 of the build. Now, to go ahead and make sure we build this properly in the water, so for many of you, I'm assuming that you're going to probably want to build this in the water, you will want to make sure that you set this at a certain height. Now, layer 1 here is going to be the very bottom layer, and this is going to sit here directly at the water level. So you can see the blue concrete here is representing that water level, and we have a red concrete, which is going to be the start here of our first layer. So just make sure that's all good to go and it's positioned properly, especially if you want to build this in the water. But once you have that set up, let's go ahead and build off of this. What we're going to do here is we're going to place down 2 narrow brick walls forward, and then we're going to place down a red stained glass pane like that after that. So we have a red concrete block, 2 narrow brick two red nether brick walls, and then a red stained glass pane. Going back from the red concrete, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 red concrete blocks back. We're going to place down 2 red nether brick top slabs, a red stained glass pane, and then a red nether brick wall. After that, once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a acacia wood trapdoor here on the very end, like so. After that's done, we want to go ahead and then place down an acacia wood trapdoor to both sides of this slab, and then we want to go and place down 2 lightning rods that are going to come off these fence gates like that going forward. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 red nether brick top slabs to both sides, and then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 red nether brick ups downstairs, and same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 red nether brick stairs. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 red stained glass panes on both sides, and then we're going to place down an acacia wood trapdoor to both sides of this block here. After that's done, we're going to then take some acacia wood signs, and we're going to go to our 4th stair from the front. So this stair here, we're going to place down a acacia wood sign on the side of it. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 signs back, and same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So just like that, and actually, sorry, one more. 11, actually 12 here. So in total, our signs, we're going to have go all the way along the side here. And again, I'll get you guys a good count here. We have a total of 11. And then over here, we have a total of 11 as well. Actually, I started too far back. So just like that to both sides there. And so again, starting on this 3rd stair from the back, and over here it's starting on the 4th stair from the front. So we have those acacia wood signs on the side there. Anyways, though, that right there is going to wrap up everything we have for layer 1. Here's what it should look like for the top down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 2. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to go ahead and get started with, we're going to place down a polished black stone wall on top of this glass pane, and then another wall back from that. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, and 3 gray concrete blocks back, and then 2 gray stained glass panes on the last 2 gray concrete blocks. We're going to go back from the glass panes 1, 2, 3, 4. Polished black stone walls 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this middle space here, we're going to place down a row of 4 of our deep slate tile slabs like that. We're going to take our gray concrete and continue back along the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Blocks back just like that. We're going to go then take our deep slate tile blocks, and we're just going to go and fill in the middle space here, going all the way down the center line here of the ship. So just like this. And then we're going to go and continue this on, going back like this, and we're going to end on top of this acacia wood trapdoor here. Now on the sides of this, we're going to place down 3 polished black stone walls to these sides here, and then we're going to place down our gray stained glass panes going back from those. And then a polished blackstone upside down stair here with a wither skeleton skull on both sides here. One quick thing I do want to go ahead and add on real quick is if you are wanting to put this ship in the water, unfortunately there's really no good block to place on these. Now you could place the slabs, but the slabs are a little bit big, so you could place down birchwood slabs here for the props. But I think they're a little big for the ship. Now you can obviously do those. I think preferably skeleton skulls are the most accurate, but this is only going to really work if you have the ship displaying out of water, because water will break those skulls. So again, just kind of a few options there for the propellers I did forget to talk about in the previous layer, so you can pick and choose what you want to do for that. Anyways, though, that right there is going to conclude everything we have for layer 2. Here again is a top-down view of what that looks like, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we'll be moving into layer number 3. For layer 3 to start with, we're going to place down a piston on the front here, and then a second piston back from that. If you are not on Java and don't have access to the debug stick, I would recommend instead of pistons to probably either place down full blocks or to place down maybe slabs instead. Unfortunately, or some polished blocks and slabs. Unfortunately, we will be using the pistons. They work the best for getting the shape of the bow correctly. And we will be using a debug stick, which is a tool that's only available for Java. So you will have to find an alternative to these 2 blocks here if you're not on Java. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 deep slate tile slabs back, and then we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on the side of this slab here, and also on the side of this piston right here as well. We also want to go ahead and grab some dark oak wood signs, and we're just going to wrap them around the sides of this forward piston like so. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and also go to the top of the piston, and just so we don't forget, we're going to place down an iron bar on top of this, or the slab, or whatever you have placed there. Then we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull at a slight angle on top of these glass panes, like this, and then we're going to place down another wither skeleton skull going back on those glass panes just like that. We're going to place down a polished black stone stair here, a dark oak wood fence gate, open the fence gate toward the stair, and then to both sides of that stair we're going to place down a daylight detector, turn into the night mode. We then want to place down 2 dark oak wood trapdoors back from those daylight detectors, and we're also going to go ahead and place down a piston right here. This piston can be substituted for a polished black stone slab instead. We then want to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gray concrete blocks down the center. And then to the sides of the first, or the second and third block, we're going to place down 2 light gray stained glass panes. Then we want to place down a polished black stone wall to both sides, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished black stone top slab, a row of 2. So 1, 2, and over here 1, 2. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down item frames on the side of these 2 top slabs. So 1, 2, and over here 1, 2. In those item frames, we're going to go ahead and place down white beds, which we're going to rotate, have them sit sideways. And we're also going to place down dark oak wood signs if you're on Java. Now just know that on Java, you can place down signs and item frames in the same block space. If you're not on Java, you will not be able to place down signs and item frames in the same block space, so you'll have to just go ahead and place down the item frames and disregard the signs. Once that's done, we're going to place down 2 polished diorite top slabs going back, and then we're going to place down a gray carpet to both sides. This section right here, we're going to go and grab our deep slate tile blocks. We're going to place down 2 blocks here, and 2 polished black stone walls to both sides. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gray concrete back down the center, and then again 2 polished black stone walls going back. Then a gray bed like this to both sides for your torpedo launcher, a gray carpet that goes back like so, a polished black stone stair to both sides, dark oak wood fence gate coming off those stairs opened up toward it like that for your side guns, and then dark oak wood signs on the side of those stairs as well. We then want to go ahead and place down a polished black stone stair here in the center, then a gray concrete block, and we're going to go ahead and then place down another piston like this. Again, instead of the piston, you can use a polished black stone slab instead. On the sides here, we're going to place down 2 gray carpets, just like this. And then in the center, we're going to place down a redstone repeater, or actually, sorry, my bad. First a gray concrete block, and then a redstone repeater with the notches spread apart. Then we're going to place down a polished black stone stair, which will be followed with a dark oak wood fence gate opened up toward the stair, and a dark oak wood sign on both sides of that stair, just like that. Then we want to go ahead and place down a item frame, which is going to be right here. And then we're going to have a gray concrete block in the item frame. And then going back further from this, we're going to place down a lever. And if you're on Java, we can place down an item frame underneath the lever to kind of create like a defensive little position. And then we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate on the very back here, open this up toward the lever. And then on top of the fence gate, we're going to place down a iron bar like that goes up. And then we're going to place down 2 flower pots, one on top of the wither skeleton skulls and one on top of these glass panes on the sides here like that. Once that's all done there, that's going to wrap that up. And the very last thing we have here is going to be more of a Java feature. We're going to build a block that goes off this wall and this glass pane here, so it just kind of blocks with a space of 1 in between them to the side. We're going to place down some dark oak wood buttons on the side of these blocks, and we can go ahead and then type in the command /give @p Minecraft :debug_stick. So this command here, press enter, will give you this glowing stick. What we're going to do is we're going to left click this button here until we get selected facing, and we're going to go ahead and right click this and rotate it so it's actually coming off the wall and the glass pane, and this just kind of creates some of the portholes on the superstructure. So again, that's going to be done here to both sides there, just like that. And once that's all done there, that's going to wrap up what we have for layer number 3 of the build. Here again is a top-down view of what that should look like. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to place down a polished black stone stair on top of this right here. And then we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate coming off the front of the stair, and then a dark oak wood sign to the sides here of the stair, like this. We're going to go ahead and then place down a gray carpet behind it, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gray concrete blocks here down the center. We're going to place down a dark oak wood button on both sides of this second block, and then we want to go ahead and place down a gray carpet on top of this polished blackstone top slab, and then a polished blackstone upside down stair after the carpet. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves some barrier blocks. So for Java players, we'll type in the command /give at p barrier, and this should be the command right here. Press enter will give you this barrier block. And they're also known as structure blocks on Bedrock, but basically all they are is invisible blocks. So you're going to go ahead and place down the blocks that are going to kind of skip a space out to the side here. So they're not going to be directly above these polished diorite top slabs. They're just going to be out to the side, and we're going to place down levers on the side of those like that. And those are going to be some of the winches for the lifeboats here in this midsection. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a white bed on these two walls here against some lifeboats here in the midship. And then we're going to go ahead and go back down the center here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gray concrete. On these first two walls, we're going to place down wither skeleton skulls. Then we want to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood button on both sides of this block here, and then another dark oak wood button on both sides of this last one. We're going to place down another polished blackstone stair right here, and this is going to be followed with a polished blackstone top slab coming off that stair, as well as another polished blackstone stair here, a dark oak wood fence gate opened up toward the stair, and a dark oak wood sign on both sides of that fence gate. And we're also going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood polished blackstone slab on top of this gray concrete block here, dark oak wood sign on the sides, and then a fence gate coming off the front of the slab opened up toward it. Then once that's all done there, that's going to basically wrap up what we have there for the guns, and that's going to wrap up in general what we have for the layer number 4. With that though, here is again a view of what it looks like from up above. For my Java players, we can go ahead and take our debug stick, and we can go ahead and left click these pistons now until we get selected extended. We're going to go ahead and right click these, set these to true, and what's going to happen is it's going to get rid of that wood portion. And as you can see, it helps us shape the bow and some of the superstructure using those pistons. So that is what we're using those for. Anyways though, that's going to wrap up everything for layer number 4 of the build, and with that, let's move on to layer number 5. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a redstone repeater on top of this, on top of this second gray concrete block, and we're going to go and separate the notches apart from each other like so. We're also going to place down a polished blackstone stair here, a dark oak wood fence gate coming off of it, and then a dark oak wood sign to both sides of that stair like that. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a smoker right behind it like so, and then a wither skeleton skull to both sides of the smoker. We're also going to place down a flower pot that's going to come off both sides here of this repeater here. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4 gray concrete blocks back. On this last gray concrete block, we're going to place down an item frame to both sides, then a gray bed in the item frame facing upwards, and then a dark oak wood sign on the sides there of the block if you're on Java. After that's done, we're going to then take our dark oak wood buttons and just place down 2 buttons going forward. Then a lever that's going to sit on top of this stair here to both sides, and then an item frame underneath the lever if you're on Java. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a redstone repeater on top of this block here. Again, separate the notches from each other like so. Another gray concrete block here, item frame to both sides of this block, and then a gray bed in the item frame, and again a dark oak wood sign if you're on Java. So like this and like this. Then we're going to go ahead and skip a space and then place down a deep slate tile slab here. We're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood sign on these 3 sides of the slab. And then in front of it, we're going to place down a gray concrete block, and then a flower pot, and then a lever on top of this top slab, and then an item frame underneath the lever like that. And that is going to wrap up what we have there for this layer. And with that, we'll probably honestly just move into our final layers. We're pretty much done with the main superstructure. So with that, we'll go ahead and move into our last final layers, and that's going to be it for layer number 5. Moving into our last final layers, we have layers 6 through 11. For these layers to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a polished blackstone slab that's going to sit on top of this smoker. So just a slab up on top here, and we're going to go ahead and place down dark oak signs around the sides here of that slab. Once that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished blackstone wall that's going to go back from this, and then a wither skeleton skull to both sides here of this slab. We're going to go ahead and place down a second slab that goes back. That's going to be followed up with a dark oak wood fence gate. to both sides here of the slab. And then we're going to place down an item frame that's going to come off the fence gate. And in that item frame, we're going to place down a white concrete block and then a dark oak wood sign on the side there if you're on Java. So just like that. And then after that's done, we're going to go and then place down a polished black stone stair here and a dark oak wood sign on both sides of the stair, as well as a gray concrete block on top of this space here, and again dark oak wood signs wrapped around this gray concrete block on these three sides. Up from the gray concrete block, we're going to place down a polished black stone wall and then a wither skeleton skull. Then on top of this wall right here, we're going to place down a polished black stone stair and then a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of the stair, and then a dark oak wood sign. If you are not on Java, I'd recommend placing down dark oak wood signs on the sides here of this stair as well. However, if you are on Java, we can go ahead and build a block out to the sides here of the stair. And we're going to go ahead and place down a tripwire hook on the side of these blocks. We'll take our debug stick, left click this, change the facing, rotate this around so it comes off the sides of the stairs, just like that. And that will create this first control director. Then we're going to go ahead and take our end rods. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, and 4 end rods up. We're going to go to the fourth end rod. We're going to place down an end rod coming off all 4 sides, like that for the top of the mast. We'll also grab our barrier blocks again, and going down from this top end rod to the sides, we're going to place down 3 barrier blocks that go down like this, and same thing over here. We'll then take our stone buttons. We're going to wrap them around the sides of these 2 barrier blocks here, and then on the one side here of this one below it. So for some of the rigging there for the masts. And then on the very top here, we're just going to place down a row of 3 of iron bars that go across, like that for the radar. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and move back to our second funnel here. We're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of that, a dark oak wood sign to both sides of it, and then we want to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood fence gate on the front and back of this gray concrete block. Coming off those blocks, we're going to go ahead and place down snowballs, or not snowballs, sorry, I don't know what I was thinking there, wither skeleton skulls. And then we want to go ahead and place down a polished black stone wall on top of this right here to go ahead and complete the funnel. We're also going to place down iron bars on top of the 2 skeleton skulls here for some antenna. And then switching back over to our end rods, we're going to place down a end rod that goes up from this fence gate here, followed by a second and a third one. So it goes up by 3, an end rod to both sides, and then 1 end rod going toward the rear of the ship. On the very top of that, we're also going to place down a flower pot like so. Now, we're going to go and then take our barrier blocks, and we want to go ahead and start off by going ahead and going to these end rods. We're going to build 2 barrier blocks back from these end rods from the forward mast. And then on the center end rod on the rear mast, we're going to place down 3 barrier blocks going forward. For our stone buttons, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 stone buttons on the bottom of these barrier blocks here, and then 3 stone buttons along the sides here of these last 3. So it's going to look like that there for your rigging between the masts. And then on the very back mast here to finish this one off, we're going to go ahead and place down a line of 2 of barrier blocks that are going to drop down like this. And we're going to go and place down 2 stone buttons on the sides of this first one, and then a button on the front of this second one. And then we're going to go and drop another barrier block down like this, and we're going to go ahead and place down a button here to the sides. Or rather, I'm going to go ahead and place down the barrier block there in the middle, and a button here to the sides like that. So that's what it should look like, just like that. And that's going to complete this back rigging. After that's all done, we then want to go ahead and place down a polished black stone stair here. Just like we did for the forward superstructure, we can place down dark oak wood signs around all these 3 sides here if you're not on Java. If you are on Java, we're going to be going ahead and using the same technique where we have our tripwire hooks here and rotating them around. So again, just like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of the stair like that. And once you have that all done right there, that's going to wrap up everything you have for layers 6 through 11, and that's going to complete my tutorial here for the USS San Diego CL-53 Atlantic-class light cruiser. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do abuse this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be anything from a sign on this build to a link to my channel or this video if this does appear on any social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free user for projects you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, all that fun stuff. And, with that, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett 2x4, and I will see you guys next time.